Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Late Tuesday night, Lincoln Riley, this USC program, make another addition to the coaching staff heading into 2025 as former UCF cornerbacks coach Trevon Reed making the cross the country trip to join this USC staff and coaching the cornerbacks heading into 2025. I think a lot of USC fans probably had the same question I did, and that is, hey, what happens with Doug Belk? And nothing happens with Doug Belk, right? USC went to war with the Miami Hurricanes to keep Doug Belk at USC. They love what Doug Belk is doing. Trevon Reed, although not going to be a full-time assistant position coach for USC, is going to come in and work with the cornerbacks, brings a couple of different things that intrigue me. Most notably, and this is a guy that's an NFL vet, has won a national championship at the collegiate level playing for Auburn, and is going to be a dog on the recruiting trail. Those are some of the things that stick out to me at first. Want to dive into really a couple of different things. Number one, what did he do at UCF in 2024? What does he bring to USC on the recruiting trail? Really the two things you look at when you're evaluating coaching hires. But I want to start with this. I have to give a hat tip to Lincoln Riley in this USC program in terms of how they have operated the last month. And I get we haven't played a down of football the last month, but how this USC team is managing the offseason with the hires that they've made, they're operating like a national championship caliber program. And that's where it starts. You got to start operating like one. Then it's going to manifest on the football field. You look at just the last couple of weeks with this USC program, you keep Danton Lynn. Penn State clearly was going to be aggressive to bring him to Penn State. You keep him at USC. You look at Doug Belk. Hey, the Miami Hurricanes wanted Doug Belk. You keep Doug Belk at USC. You bring in Rob Ryan, a former NFL defensive coordinator, to take over your linebackers room heading into 2025. You go out and land Chad Bowden, who I think might be the best general manager in the sport, to come and take a kind of control of how this roster is going to look. The last couple of weeks, in terms of what USC's done, not only with their hires, but keeping their staff intact, it's been, at least in my opinion, a masterclass from Lincoln Riley. And you all know I've been critical in the past about Lincoln Riley. It's been a home run for the last couple of weeks in terms of how this USC program is operating. Want to get into Trevon Reed, talk about what he brings to USC before we get into, and as always, the USC fans, let it fly in the comments section. How are we feeling about it? You all know how much I appreciate you guys. To the USC fans, that whether we're talking recruiting, whether we're talking coaching hires, whether we're talking the portal, I have a blast talking this team. The amount of support y'all continue to show, all the fight ons you guys leave in the comment section, it means the world. Appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into this one. And I think where I first started with this is, like, does he have any connection to the coaching staff? And from my brief looking at it, it doesn't sound like he does, which I think is really interesting. This is kind of just word of mouth. Hey, Trevon Reed, what he did at UCF, really damn good. Really good football coach, kind of a riser in the coaching industry. Let's go add him to our staff. This is part of being an elite college football program. Yes, the head coach is important. One of the best things you can do as a head coach, create a strong staff around you. When Lincoln Riley came in to USC, he did not crush the coaching staff around him. You are seeing him correct that in a big way over the last couple of weeks and months, and really going back to last year, hiring Coach Henny and Coach Dan Lynn. You love to see that from Lincoln Riley. Now, getting into Trevon Reed, I think it starts with it's a small sample size, but it's a good sample size. You know, you look at the UCF cornerbacks last year. Obviously, we all know Chosen Johnson, who was committed to USC for about 30 minutes, decommitted from USC in the portal. Really good as a true freshman at UCF. Then you look at, they sent just two cornerbacks to the Senior Bowl. Was the only program to have two cornerbacks represented at the Senior Bowl in the country. Look, Trevon Reed does not have that long track record that a guy like Rob Ryan has. It's a 1-year track record of what he did in 2024 as the cornerbacks coach for UCF. It's a dang good one. And so that's probably where you want to start. Number two, national champ at Auburn as a football player, NFL vet. To me, that stuff matters. You know, you talk about specifically the national championship that he won as a football player. If you can get guys who've won Super Bowls or won national championships, they know what winning looks like around them, either as a player or a coach. I love it because you look at how you want to start operating. Again, kind of like what we talked about. You want to be a national championship team on Saturdays in the fall. You better start operating like one during the offseason and in team meetings. Having guys that know what that looks like and know the expectations of what it takes, I'm always a fan of adding guys who've won at the highest level, regardless of being a player or a coach. I think the last one that you want to focus on is what he does on the recruiting trail. And I think what stands out to me right now is you got two Louisiana natives on staff now, in Coach Henne and Trevon Reed. We obviously saw that pay some massive dividends with Jakeem Stewart coming to USC right off the bat. And this is within 30 minutes of Trevon Reed getting hired. Five-star offensive lineman Lamar Brown tweeting at Trevon Reed, probably going to be interested in USC now. Now, does USC go out and land a guy like Lamar Brown? We'll see. It probably puts their hat in the race. So this is a five-star offensive lineman that has offers from just about everybody in the country. More my takeaway is look at the relationship he built with a guy like Lamar Brown. He's probably building those kind of relationships with a lot of those kids, specifically from the state of Louisiana. And so you look at a potential look, recruiting California is still, in my opinion, the top priority. But if you can go out and pick off a guy like Lamar Brown or pick off a guy like Jakeem Stewart from Louisiana or from Alabama, where he played his college football at Auburn, and bring him to USC, look, we ain't going to say no to that. A lot of good football players in the southeastern United States as well. And so I look at it and say, he's not going to have a ton of responsibility too early, which I think is important, right? He's a 34-year-old guy, but he gets to come join this USC staff. He's what we all think is a good football coach and a good recruiter. When you check off the box of recruiting and a football coach, it's a damn good hire for me. You get the two thumbs up from me. We'll see how it plays out, but I think this is another interesting storyline. And I think my biggest storyline coming out is, look, Lincoln Riley is going to die trying, getting this USC program to maximize itself. That's on the recruiting trail. That's with what what staff they decide to hire. All of this stuff, that's what plays out on the football field. You got to get the coaching staff right. You got to get the recruiting right. The results on the football field are going to follow. You got to give Lincoln Riley credit because he's trying to get that stuff right on the tail end, hopefully get results on the football field. Again, I've been critical of Lincoln Riley in the past. I think he's had this USC program as a whole has had a tremendous last couple of weeks. And what we had planned to come out today was a little bit of a recruiting preview of what's going to happen this week. And we're going to push that back till Wednesday. Offseason vibes, pretty dang high for this USC program. All right, we'll get out of here on that. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.